Hello my fellow designers and creatives, hope you're all doing well. This is Chetan here from Design Palette and I'm back again today with a Webflow tutorial. This is going to be a very interesting, fun tutorial. So without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so here I am on my portfolio. You can visit it at chetankvs.design, and this is a portfolio that I built on Webflow. The whole website is built on Webflow. It's got like a ton of cool interactions and animations and stuff like that. So definitely check it out. But most importantly, what we're going to be taking a look at is this animation that we have. So as I hover over these texts, it kind of changes to whatever color that I've assigned to, and it also fades away. So it's really fun to play around with. You can go ahead and play around it with yourself, and as you can see, it just slowly fades away. It's quite fun and really interesting to play around with. So we're gonna see how to create this, and you don't have to use a single line of code, no custom code needed, just simple basic Webflow interactions. So let's get into Webflow. All right, so I'm gonna start off by creating a new text. So I'm just going to go ahead and just type in a text block. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and center the body. So we have the text in the center, and I'm just going to go ahead and say text. All right. We can give it a class. We can just call this text. Doesn't really matter what we call it. I'm going to go ahead and, maybe choose a different font, I guess. Let's go for a nice thick font. I'm going to make the font size 50, or, let's go ahead and make it 70, or I don't know, let's go make it 200, and maybe give it a height of 100%. All right. Yeah, cool. So this is what we have. So the way we want to do it is you want to split each letter into a different component or an element. So how do we do that? So this is basically one text element. All right, as you can see, we have one text element. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click so that I can enter in the edit mode, and I'm going to select one letter. All right, and I'm going to choose this option that says wrap with span. Okay, once you choose that, now you can actually see that the text is the parent, and inside we have a text span. All right, now this is the letter T. I'm going to go ahead and give it a class and just give it a name for the color. I'm going to choose green for here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process for all the other letters. So I'm going to double click, select this, choose wrap with span, and click on that particular letter and come over here and then probably choose a different color. I'm going to choose red. Let's do the same thing over here. Select this, wrap with span, maybe blue. All right. And let's choose this again. And wrap with span, and I don't know, maybe purple, whichever color that you want. Should be pretty simple. All right, so now as you can see, we have 4 different letters, which are children of the parent element, which is the text. And now that's pretty much it. All you have to do is set up an interaction and you are good to go. So I'm going to go to the interactions tab. And what I'm going to do is make sure that you have one of the letters selected, and go to element trigger, and we're going to choose mouse hover. All right, so now we have 2 properties that we can customize: on hover and on hover out. All right, so we're going to start off with on hover. I'm going to go and choose start an animation, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new animation, and we're going to call this green in. All right, so or just say green hover in. Okay, pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose the property, which is the text color. Okay, and here what we want to choose is you want to choose effect interaction trigger. Okay, now we do have another option, which is selected element, and we have class. Now the reason we don't want to choose class is because if this is also green, all right, because in my case, I have multiple colors being repeated. So as you can see, I have orange over here and I have orange over here. So when I hover over this, I don't want this also to be affected because I'm hovering only on this. All right. But I don't want to make multiple interactions for each letter. I want to make one for each color. And depending on the element I hover, that particular color interaction gets triggered. All right. So basically what I'm trying to say is go ahead and set this to interaction trigger. Okay. Cool. Then we're going to go ahead and create a duplicate of this. So you want to right click and choose duplicate. And the first one, we're going to go and, set that color to, black. because that's the color that we want, and set that to initial state. All right, so set the first one to initial state. The second one is going to be our color that we want, so we're going to go and choose a green color. All right, let's go and choose a green color. There we go. We have a green color. Maybe I want to make this a little bit darker. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, and here we can set the duration to something low such as 0.2, and even probably set the to ease. All right, something simple like that. Okay, so now if you quickly take a look, as if you see when you hover, this is what is this is what you're gonna get. Great. The next thing is we're going to close this, and we're going to choose on hover out, and we're going to choose start an animation. And here I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, and I'm going to choose the second one, green hover, and I'm just going to say color hover out. Okay. Now I'm not going to be making individual hover out interactions for each color. We're just going to be making one, and I will kind of explain why. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the second one, and we're going to delete that, and we're going to take the first one and remove that, set as initial state. The color is going to be black because we want it to become black when we hover out, and also we want a delay of probably 3 seconds, which means when I hover out, after 3 seconds of hovering out, the animation happens, and that we can set that a duration of 0.5. We can keep that as 5, and we can set that to ease. All right, so let's take a look and how this looks like. All right, so when I hover, you can see that it becomes green, and when I hover out, it's going to take 3 seconds, and then it's going to hover out to the normal default color. Pretty cool. Now let's take a look, and let's set the blue that we have over here also to green. All right, okay, and now let's see what happens. Okay, so I hover, you can see it's perfect, and I hover on this, nothing happens because we actually haven't added any transition effect to this. So let's go ahead and just quickly add one, say mouse, not mouse click, we want to choose mouse hover, and in mouse hover we want to choose start an animation. Let's choose green hover in. All right, and for the hover out, we want to choose the color hover out. All right, now let's take a look. Okay, so there we go, works perfectly, and that's looking pretty good, and they should, yeah, there we go, perfect. Now quickly to explain what happens if in case I set this from interaction trigger to class. All right, what's going to happen? So as you can see, if you set it to class, it's going to affect all the elements that have the same class, which is not what we want. We want it to affect only this particular element, and that's the reason we have to set effect class to effect interaction trigger. All right, so now it affects only the trigger element, which is this interaction trigger. As you can see, there's an element over here, there's a symbol over here, so that is the interaction trigger. Cool. Now let's go ahead and set this back to blue, because we wanted to have this to be blue. Okay, and let's go and let's start with red. Okay, so we're gonna go again, element trigger, we're gonna choose mouse hover and start an animation. And this time we're going to go ahead and duplicate that green hover in, and this time we're going to go and change that to red hover in. Okay, and from black again, we want to change this to a red color. All right, so we've got a nice red color. All right, and we're going to close this and hover out. We're going to go and set this to color hover out. Now the reason we're not making a separate hover out animation for each color is because basically what's happening here is there's only one trigger that's happening, and that is to change the color to black. So irrespective of which color you are, it's going to change to black because there is only one animation keyframe over here. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and do the same thing for blue. Select blue. We're going to choose, let's duplicate this one. Let's say duplicate, and let's call this, I don't know, blue hover in. Okay, that's perfect. And we're going to change the color of this from green to blue. There we go. And for hover out, we want to choose color hover out, and that looks pretty good. So now if we take a look, all right, it looks perfect, and it should slowly fade out in 3 seconds, and that's great. Now now instead of doing purple, let's actually add the same green color class and also add in the element trigger. So mouse hover, and we're going to choose start an animation, green hover in. And for the hover out, we're going to choose start an animation and choose color hover out. Okay, so now if you take a look, there we go. It looks perfect. And in 3 seconds, it's going to go fade away. And yeah, that is looking pretty good. Now, another thing that we kind of, I want to show you guys is that if I actually hover over here, you can see the cursor does not change to the text editing cursor, because over here, when I hover, you can see I have the, the input text, cursor, but here it's different. How do I change that? Pretty simple. What you want to do is you want to choose green, okay? And you want to come all the way down, and here in cursor, it's already set to default. What you want to do is you want to choose default again. Just click on it, so it kind of gets selected. As you can see, it becomes blue over here. You want to do that for each and every element. Just go ahead and choose default, and choose default. And this again, because it already has the same class, it already applied that default cursor, so we don't have to do anything again. So if I just go ahead and now hover, you can see that the cursor stays the same as the default one. And just hover out, and in 3 seconds it's gonna go fade away. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment sections down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing, awesome content, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So till then, take care and bye bye.